Guys, what's going on? John Anthony, Chairshot Sports. What a weekend we've had. Stand Deliver, WrestleMania 40, 2 nights of amazing wrestling, awesome storytelling, a lot of stories ended, a lot of new chapters beginning, and a solar eclipse. If you haven't noticed, I got these cool shades on. PSA, if you're going to be looking up, make sure you guys use the glasses. Don't burn your eyes out. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. The one thing that's the most exciting after WrestleMania is always the Raw after WrestleMania. Surprise appearances, new signings, new rivalries, call ups, you name it, it happens on the Raw after WrestleMania. So I figure we'll talk about night two. We'll also talk about the Raw after WrestleMania. We'll kind of intertwine the two and kind of go from there. First, we're going to talk about right off the bat. Cody finished the story. Cody versus Roman, an amazing match, awesome for the books, great storytelling. Jimmy and Jay get involved. Here comes Solo. John Cena avenging his loss. Here comes The Rock to take out Cena. Undertaker comes and clears out the ring. Here comes Seth Rollins in his Shield gear trying to get to Roman. Tries to get to The Rock. Roman takes him out. Roman takes out Seth instead of taking out Cody. Cody hits the three, not one, not two, three of the Crossroads. Pins Roman 1, 2, 3, finishes the story, and finally gets his hands on the WWE Undisputed title. An amazing match, an amazing sight to see after winning that. Calls down Bruce Pritchard and Triple H down to the ring. The locker room clears out. Mama Rhodes is there. Brandy Rhodes is there. An amazing moment for everybody. I think, as excited as I was to see that moment happen, I think I'm more excited to see what happens tonight, where we go from here. Before we get to that, let's talk about the actual Raw Championship, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the match that kicked off night two. That was between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Awesome match. Seth Rollins doing his best Ric Flair spot of calling for the finisher. Drew obliges, gives him a nice big Claymore. 1, 2, 3, pins him in the ring. An emotional moment for Drew, actually winning this belt in front of 70,000 plus people. Taking it all in, enjoying the moment. Last time he was champion was during the pandemic, and unfortunately was at the PC. So a great moment, which turned on a dime very quickly as Drew decided to roll out of the ring and gloat and show off his brandly new one belt to one CM Punk, who was injured and could not make it to Mania this year. While this is going back and forth, Drew fires off a crotch shot at CM Punk. CM Punk underhooks his legs. He bounces off the announcer's table. CM Punk does his best Kevin Nash, rips off his arm brace on an arm that apparently is now very healed and still not injured anymore. Knocks out Drew with that, takes the boots to Drew's head, blows the kiss to the crowd, and here comes Damian Priest from the Judgment Day running down the ramp with a referee with his Money in the Bank briefcase. Throws the briefcase at Drew, knocks Drew back out, cashes in, throws McIntyre into the center of the ring. South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3. In a span of 6 minutes, we've now had 2 title changes, and your new World Heavyweight Champion is now Damian Priest. The Judgment Day now has a firm grasp on the top men's and top women's belts on the Raw brand. For someone like me who was talking about dissension in the ranks and maybe seeing kinks in the armor moving forward, coming out of WrestleMania with Dom losing night one, the tag belts leaving the group as well, bringing the World Heavyweight Championship back into the group, and now with Rhea being an unstoppable force right now, going through everything and anything, this probably makes the group a lot stronger than they've ever been on a united front, having a new belt, having this newfound feeling of running the brand, running the show. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight. A lot of roads you can go to. See what I did there? Drew McIntyre. If CM Punk is 100%, if last night wasn't just a shoot, then you have CM Punk, you have Drew McIntyre, who are going to want to get their hands on him. Those are your first 2 opponents out the bat. And there's plenty of other capable individuals who are going to want their piece of the World Heavyweight Champion. Another great match was also the LA Knight AJ Styles match. LA Knight, a 2-time Slammy winner, winning the big breakout star of the year and also the best crowd chant of the year from the Slammies. That was cool. LA Knight's first WrestleMania showed out against AJ Styles, who debuted an awesome banger of a new theme. Great song. Their match was amazing. Back and forth. Great guys, great chemistry together when they work in the ring. LA Knight hits the BFT, gets the 1-2-3. Gets so first WrestleMania, gets his first WrestleMania win. Awesome for LA Knight. Loved it. Great from start to finish. Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and KO for the U.S. title. Awesome match. Love the entrance with Kevin Owens in the golf cart, flying down the ramp with Randy almost coming off the back and to hold on for dear life. It almost was like a 2-on-1 match for pretty much the first half of it, with them just kind of going back and forth, having fun of who can beat up Logan, who can beat up Logan more in and outside the ring. Once it got into all three of them beating up each other, Logan gets his hands on some brass knucks, takes out Randy, takes out KO. Randy's hitting everyone with RKOs, KO stunning people and hitting them with power bombs. The one ending I didn't have in any realm, in any scenario, was Logan Paul retaining, which is why they made a triple threat, so Logan wouldn't look weak, losing a one-on-one. Logan hit the frog splash. I did not think that was going to be a 1-2-3, but Logan Paul's your U.S. champion coming out of WrestleMania. My only hope is that we see Logan a little bit more up on the SmackDown brand. Hope he's around maybe every other week instead of being around for 3 to 4 weeks, just talking on camera, sending in vignettes and all this tape stuff and talking about the fight and fighting once every 2 months. Not a fan of it. Don't like the part-time stuff. I know he has a lot going on, but if you're gonna hold the title, gotta show up. You know what I'm saying? Bayley and Io Sky, that was an amazing match as well. Glad there was one-on-one. Damage Control stayed in the back. That was great. Awesome. It was just an awesome storytelling match. The place was going nuts for Bayley to win. Finally hit the Macho Man elbow, hit the Rose Plant 1-2-3. Bayley gets the win. Well deserved after her months and months of storytelling with Damage Control getting her revenge and her retribution on them as well. Yeah, I mean, it was a short night. It was weird. Cody and Roman are starting. I'm looking up at the clock. It's 10 of 10. I'm like, this is wild. We're never this quickly done. So I think it was awesome. It was a great night. All the matches were very well put together. Great storytelling. Good pace for everything. Nothing too rushed. The Cody Roman match was long enough of them being one-on-one where we knew people were going to interfere. I think that it made sense for everyone coming out, Jimmy to Jay, Solo to Cena, Cena to Rock. It made sense of going in order of history and people coming back, and the Seth Rollins coming out to the Shield theme in the Shield gear. Just ghost for Roman. That's why he hits him with the chair, gets his retribution after all this time, after Seth hit him with the hit them with chairs, and then Roman's able to get his little pound of flesh, but unfortunately in the long run ends up losing the title. So, but away from that, night 2, WrestleMania, we're done. It was an awesome match. We're on to tonight. We're on to Monday, the Raw after WrestleMania. Like I said, always a show that always shows up. They show out. They pull out all the stops, and this is the start of the new WWE calendar year. And we're on to WrestleMania 41 as of today. So I talked a little bit about the World Heavyweight Champion. This Judgment Day, best place to start. What's next? I mean, Rhea, really, after beating Becky, that in itself, what's next for Becky? Becky's contract comes up in a couple months. A lot of people don't know if she's going to resign. There's rumors saying that she might retire, or at least for now, step away to be a full-time mom, full-time wife. Seth also needs time away too. So the two of them might take some time. Enjoy just being, a regular married couple with kids. Take some time away from the business. Seth definitely needs to lick some wounds. Definitely needs to heal up. Probably fix whatever he's got going on with his back and or knee. He's done an amazing job as World Heavyweight Champion. Becky, an amazing match at WrestleMania. But I think it's both owed to them, and they both deserve it to take the time off for the time they put in carrying the Raw brand into WrestleMania. Amazing job. I talked about it, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Those two, before I feel like either one can go to ascend to a World Heavyweight Championship title opportunity, those two need to have their own story, their own program. And I don't think this is going to be some 3-4 week thing. We have a Backlash match and that's it. This is going to be something that's going to go on, I don't want to say the whole summer into SummerSlam, Because at that point, I mean, before that, you also have Clash at the Castle, which I feel like that's where Drew is going to get back the World Heavyweight Championship. It made sense at Mania for him to win, then lose to get rid of Priest's briefcase, with Money in the Bank coming up in a few months, up in Toronto. Um, but yeah, I think a Punk Drew McIntyre story needs to happen. You're going to see the kickoff of that tonight. Like I said, Punk is 100%. I'm sure Cody's going to kick off the show. Um, but at the end of the day, Cody technically is a SmackDown guy now. That's a Friday Night SmackDown belt. It's a Friday Night SmackDown championship. Tonight is going to be the swan song on Raw, and Cody's got to take that belt over to SmackDown. The draft is coming up, probably next 3-4 months, probably late summer, early fall. So who knows if they switch the titles back, put the World Heavyweight on SmackDown, vice versa, putting the Undisputed over on Raw. Who knows? But or unless some weird trade gets pulled off and Damian Priest gets traded over to SmackDown, something like that. Who knows? Again, Raw after WrestleMania. The only thing that's certain is that nothing is certain. Very exciting time. A lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff to get excited for in the next 3 to 6 months with the rivalries that are going to be happening. And debuts, I'm sure they're going to be right behind that as well. Let's not forget about Sami Zayn. The underdog story. Beat Gunther. Hit the brainbuster on the top turnbuckle. Hits the 2 haluva kicks. Pins him 1, 2, 3. The ultimate underdog wins again. A great story. A great win. What's next for Sami? Chad Gable is probably the first guy I'm going to think of right now that's going to take him out. That's going to take him on. Looking like, hey, I trained you for this. I think I deserve, you winning this. I think I deserve a shot at you, a shot at the belt at least. So I think that'll be good. You got Bronson Reed that's there. You have Jey Uso. The undercard, the undercard for the IC title is stacked. You could have a lot of triple threats and a lot of fatal four ways in the future coming for that belt. Sami is a fighting champion. Sami's probably going to be having matches every week, if not every other week. Does a phenomenal job. Awesome. Yeah, it's really just talking about also too. It's really time to start looking at call-ups and surprise returns. There's a lot of talk tonight of the Motor City Machine Guns that making a debut. There's still rumblings of MJF. There's also people talking about there's other people coming from Impact and from any jumps from AEW. Ricky Stark was in attendance last night. All these guys, a lot of these guys are still under contract. It's well known. No one's getting any buyouts or jumping companies and things like that. I mean, they're under contract. They legally have to stay where they are. But it's a great time. Wrestling's cooking. It's a great time. WrestleMania was amazing. Yeah, I really just can't really just say enough about how everything was put together. Paul Levesque talked about it at length as well in his press conference for the stuff that's going to come for Roman Reigns after he takes some time off. Footage came out after WrestleMania of Roman just pretty much breaking down in Paul Heyman's arms. I think that's a combination of obviously losing the championship. It's 3+ years of being the guy, the head of the table, the tribal chief. But you got to think it's relief. This man has carried the company for so long. And say what you want about the guy. He was part-time. The last year, he's probably defended, a handful of times. He was barely on TV. I get it. It sucked. Not seeing the championship, not having that title defended at PLEs. It sucked. But for what he did with that belt and elevating it and just the storytelling, and look what we got out of it was the Cody story and what happened last night with culminating in the main event of night 2 and Cody winning the belt. You got to give Roman his flowers. The guy did what he had to do. And the story, according to Paul, the story is not over for him. But what you're going to see for him apparently is bigger or better than what you've ever seen and will blow your mind, according to Paul Levesque. So I'm interested to see what happens after Roman comes back. Definitely some well-deserved time off. Probably filming some movies. Go chill with The Rock, hanging out, just lifting some weights, just living the life, enjoying his kids. So that's going to be good too. Yeah. So it really is just, it's interesting to see what's going to be happening with Jade Cargill coming out of WrestleMania. Showed up great. Awesome in the big 3, they're calling it now, with her, Naomi, and with Bianca Belair. The only thing is, Jade really, I feel like the Jade and Bianca piece, you need to have either someone turn on somebody. Those two need to have a program. That's really a Backlash, Money in the Bank, program right there. Um, Bronson Reed definitely needs to get his shot at something. Like I said, elevate him into the IC picture, if not Chad Gable or all three in a triple threat. LA Knight, he's bound to have a phenomenal year. He just had a banner year. Really, the one thing that LA Knight needs right now is gold, is a championship. He needs to be put in the right program though. Don't just throw a belt on the guy. But being on SmackDown, I really hope Logan Paul kind of enters into that program with LA Knight, and maybe at Backlash, LA Knight gets that belt off of Logan. That's why he retained at Mania, gets the Mania moment. Obviously, Prime, huge sponsor on the ring, on the turnbuckles. You have the hydration station. You got your prime guy dancing around outside, getting Sparta kicked by Randy Orton. Yeah, so a lot of guys. This is going to be a great year. If you thought last year was awesome with Triple H at the helm of creative and pretty much his finger on the pulse and bringing back so many things that were key to WWE being successful 10, 12 years ago, you guys have not seen anything yet. We have the Bo Dallas story that's going to unfold. If you haven't seen the documentary, not to ruin anything, about the documentary, which was well done. Shout out to Peacock. Shout out to WWE. Great job of representing and a great tribute to Bray Wyatt in that production. But at the end, the lantern turns on, and it's Bo Dallas's Uncle Howdy behind it. That piece alone is going to be awesome because they're not going to do that just to do it. It's going to be done right. It's going to be done with Wyndham, in a Wyndham way where it's going to make sense. Shout out to all the Hall of Famers as well. Obviously, Paul Heyman, the centerpiece of this year's Hall of Fame class. Rotunda, awesome class. Muhammad Ali finally getting in. Just an awesome class this year. Next year should be even better. Yeah, like I said, there's not a lot to really go on to. I don't want to just sit here and rehash everything that happened in Mania and do, every match was awesome. Everything was great. I think tonight's going to be amazing. As you can see, I have the old school wing belt here from the 90s. Really hoping that Cody debuts a new belt. It's rumored, if you saw his IG, he had the old school belt that Dusty had, never got to have, and the new undisputed belt together. And with the quote of "when one story ends, an even better one begins." So I'm really thinking that a new design belt has been in the works and something's going to be debuted tonight. Cody has a thing for the relics. Even when he was the IC title, he brought back the old white strap, which was awesome as well. That's going to be great. Yeah, and let's not forget, you got the new tag team titles, baby. New tag team champions on both brands. I talked about this for months. I talked about it on other people's pods. They were asking me, is it going to happen? They're going to do it as soon as they announce the six-pack challenge. And then when Michael Cole announced how the match will keep going, once one set of titles are grabbed, I knew that was it. They're going to take it off the Judgment Day. So it's good to see A-Town Down Under. With their respective belts on SmackDown, and also Awesome Truth having the belts over on Raw. R-Truth finally getting his WrestleMania moment. The guy has put in the work, doing awesome character work. It's good to see him get that moment. Great to see him be a champion, especially with The Miz. So that's awesome as well. All new champions across the board. The only people that retained this year were Rhea and Logan Paul, which was surprising. Logan's the one guy I thought would not retain. But yeah, it's going to be a great night tonight. Won't keep you guys. Definitely, if anything crazy happens tonight, we will have a special edition podcast immediately following Raw Talk and following Monday Night Raw. So definitely, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Do you have any ideas of who's going to come out? Do you have some crazy theories? Just speculating wildly, whatever's in your head, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Find me on Instagram or on Twitter as well. You can find us on all three, on YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram. All of them are at Chairshot Sports. So appreciate you guys. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Hope you enjoyed WrestleMania just as much as I did. And we're on to WrestleMania 41. We'll talk to you guys soon.